Okay. For many days now, Queenslanders have been battling with floodwaters and the misery that floodwaters bring. And many Australians have watched this battle and they've shown their sympathy and support by donating to the various flood relief efforts. I'm sure that many Queenslanders and Australians right around the nation would have been hoping that the worst of this was behind us and that we were shortly to move from the immediate crisis into a recovery phase. Tragically, that hasn't occurred. Yesterday, we saw some simply shocking events in Toowoomba and other communities in the Lockyer Valley. Literally walls of water smashing into cars and to buildings. We've seen very dramatic images of cars tossed around, of people on roofs of houses and on the roofs of cars, and people literally hanging on for dear life to trees and to signposts. I'm sure those images have shocked Australians. That means that now, of course, we are in a situation where as a nation we are grieving the loss of 8 Australian lives, 4 of them children. 72 Australians are unaccounted for, and that means in Queensland and around the nation there are people who are frightened, people who are desperately waiting for news of their loved ones, a weight that would be bearing so heavily on them. It's very hard to imagine what a weight like that is like. So to those people who are bereaved, to those who are now waiting for news of their loved ones, I want to say to them as Prime Minister, my thoughts and my sympathies are with you. The thoughts and sympathies of all Australians are with you in these dreadful and difficult circumstances. The nation does need to brace itself for the fact that the death toll as a result of yesterday's flash flooding and walls of water is likely to rise. We know that search and rescue efforts are underway. Difficult weather circumstances continue to prevail, and I have been continuously in contact with Queensland Premier Anna Bligh. But with 72 Australians unaccounted for, with floodwaters so dangerous and moving so swiftly, we do need to brace ourselves for the likelihood of further bad news. Today, I have been briefed by our National Security Advisor, by the Head of Emergency Management Australia. I have spoken to the Commanding Officer of Operation Queensland Flood Assist. As we speak, we have helicopters, Black Hawks and Sea Kings in the air, working hand in glove with the Queensland emergency personnel on search and rescue efforts. As those search and rescue efforts continue, floodwaters are now threatening more parts of Queensland, including Ipswich and parts of Brisbane. There are some communities that have been hit by floodwaters for a second time. Hit once, evacuated, gone back, and now being hit again. So the circumstances in Queensland continue to be very dire indeed. We will continue to provide the support of the Australian Defence Force, and I have made it very clear to Premier Anna Bligh that any resource she needs from the Australian Defence Force will be made available to the people of Queensland to assist them during this very difficult period. In my various conversations with Premier Anna Bligh, she has made very clear to me the courage and commitment of emergency services personnel who have faced these incredibly harrowing circumstances over the last 24 hours. Indeed, they were joined by volunteers, by others, including by media helicopters, to help get people off roofs last night. To everyone who has helped so courageously and so competently, I give my thanks. I know you are still out there, still engaged in search and rescue. I thank you for what you have done, what you are continuing to do, and what you will do in the days ahead. Our emergency services personnel have simply been magnificent in very, very difficult circumstances. I would like to say to the people of Queensland that I understand the past few days have been very harrowing indeed, and that there are still more dark days ahead. But the spirit of Queensland is to face these circumstances with courage and with determination. We're seeing that on display today. We saw it on display even in the amazing images in Toowoomba yesterday. To the people of Queensland, can I also say, Australians are thinking of you, and anything that the Australian nation can do to assist the people of Queensland in these difficult days will be done. Queenslanders are showing courage and determination. We will meet that courage and determination with the assistance they need in these very difficult days of the Queensland flood crisis. I do note that we are also facing floodwaters in other parts of the nation, in New South Wales, and in a typically Australian contrast, we have people fighting bushfires in Western Australia. Right around the nation, there are Australians who are doing it tough, Australians who are also showing a great deal of courage. Our thoughts are particularly with those caught up in this immediate and very difficult crisis in Queensland, but around the nation, our thoughts are with people battling floodwaters, battling fire, battling these difficult circumstances.